You got excellent advice. Stay under 183 days in France and you're fine. Meet James. James is American. He grew up in Texas and recently he fell in love with Paris and with a French woman. Today he has a house in Texas and an apartment in Paris. In France, if you spend 183 days here, you can be considered as a French tax resident. So, James spends 183 days in the US and 102 days in France. Perfect! Less than 183 days. So he thinks he won't be considered as a French tax resident. Wrong! What James doesn't know is that the 183 days rule isn't the real test. It's just one clue among the others. If one step doesn't give a clear answer, you move to the next. And if the tax authority cannot decide, you could lose the benefits of the US-France tax treaty. Step 1. Where is your home? Let's say James has one house in Texas and the other in Paris. The tax authorities cannot determine his principal place of residence. No answer there, so we move to the next step. We'll look at where his personal and economic ties are the strongest. James' girlfriend has been living in France for the past few years. He's been to French hospitals more than in the US and he signs more contracts with French companies than American. Where are his personal and economic ties the strongest? This isn't theory. In a real case decided in France in 2004, the French court looked at exactly this. A taxpayer had ties to both France and the US. The court decided that his center of interest was in the US because of the work he did there and because most of his wealth was in the US, not in France. Step 2. Where do you usually stay? For the tax authority, usually stay means where you spend most of your life. James splits his year almost exactly in half, 6 months, 6 months. No clear answer here. Step 3. Nationality. You will be considered a tax resident of the country whose nationality you hold. But here's the problem. James' father is American and his mother is French, so he holds both nationalities. And what if none of these tests can determine his tax residence? The French and US tax authority will then have to reach an agreement to determine which country gets to treat James as a tax resident. But be careful, if no agreement is found, you could fall outside the scope of the US-France tax treaty. And the consequence? You lose the benefit of the treaty and you could be subject to a double taxation. That's why counting your days is not enough. The tax treaty looks at your overall situation, not just your calendar.